Hello and welcome to my recap of the Summer Championship. Unfortunately, this time I don't have part of the Creed and Sparky here. Sparky had to travel back, and part of the Creed is exhausted from this weekend. So I'm going to just jump right on into the recap of the 2v2 side of things, maybe kind of recap the weekend as a whole, and then see where we go from there. But without further ado, let's jump on into the EU side of things with Cake and Natty. I guess spoiler alert, I've already spoiled it, but hey, spoiler alert if you're trying to recap or watch everything. Uh, this is basically going to break down the entire tournament. Not the entire tournament, but break down the end results. So you've been warned. Also, the information's already on your screen, so too bad. But anyways, Cake and Natty Mystic, they got first place. Congratulations to them. Not overly surprised. They tend to do very well online, which is one of the reasons why they've had a lot of points accrued in the 2v2 side of things. I know power rankings are a very contentious time as I have recording this, but it's worth noting. Cake and Natty, I mean, it was a while back that Cake and Natty basically said, we haven't lost an online 2v2 tournament in like X number of years or tournaments. I think it was something like ongoing 10 tournaments. They lost one and then continued on with this consistent online winning presence. So definitely not surprised to see them make it this far. Viper and Agzo did incredibly well as well, and I think they were kind of the standout favorites. They've been growing as a 2v2 team. They're one that I think a lot of people are starting to recognize are very strong players. It kind of is sad that we didn't get to see Viper perform in ones. Unfortunately, he had to DQ out of the lower side of things, so that means that we didn't get to see him do as well as I think we expected him to do in the 1v1 side of things. But it's worth pointing out Viper and Agzo did really well in the 2v2 side of things. And then third place, Mini and Goosey. I think this was a little bit of a surprise to some people. Mini and Goosey, they are a good 2v2 team, but they also have not been in the limelight the way that these other two teams have been. So it was a little bit of a surprise to see Mini and Goosey go this far, do this well. But hey, they really did well with the axes that they have. Axe definitely a big pick in the twos in kind of this weekend. And there was a lot of axe, but a lot of other weapons in between. I think just people they hone in on the axe and the big hits of it. Hermison and Blue did really well. They got, I think it was second in the last seasonal championship. This time they're going to be going home with that fourth place. That means that they're a strong 2v2 team. You don't get to see a lot of them. I think Sparky and Creed both weigh these guys very highly. I know Sparky had Hermison in the top of his 1v1s, and Creed had Blue in the top of his 1v1s. So credit to them. They definitely earned those high placements. They got that fourth place finish. They might be one of those teams that just does better in twos than they do in ones, which is something that we'll see. It just kind of happens, Cake might be the same way, where Cake just does better in twos alongside Addy Mestic. We didn't see him perform as well in the 1v1s on Saturday, but he definitely showed up here for the twos. So good on all four of those guys, or all four of those four teams. Over to the North American side of things, big standout, Tiffany and Starlight. This was kind of a big surprise. Tiffany and Starlight, it's been a while since they've been in this position. I don't think Tiffany has really shown up in twos prior to this, so that was definitely one of those things that we were not expecting coming out of her. On the other side, Starlight, I mean, there was a strong period of time where people thought Starlight was one of the best twos players. He did really well at BCX. He did really well with Astronaut. I mean, I think they won CEO Dreamland prior to the reset, if I'm not mistaken. But they did really well. So Starlight was a really strong 2v2 player. And unfortunately, yeah, I had to use the past tense because we haven't really seen a lot of them up until suddenly out of nowhere this weekend. He showed up. He did really well. Both of them taking home the W in North America. Lil Captain Faison close behind with the second place. They were kind of the favorites coming into this. Lil Captain Faison, they are like Addy Mestic and Cake, where they have a lot of success in NA online tournaments. And so not overly surprised to see them make that top three finish. I think Sparky, Creed, and I all had them as our top three in our top three picks. And then Midget and Hyper Hero, honestly, kind of taken aback at how well they did as well. Not to discount them as players, but I think this is definitely the highest that they've placed, especially in twos. This was definitely a surprise hit for these guys. Congratulations to them. Not much more to say about that. A Hyper Hero went in with the Bryn instead of the Sidra pick that I think a lot of people were expecting from him. Starlight went in with this Giro instead of the Sidra, but the Sidra was kind of his backup pick that ended up doing really well. So it was interesting to see the Sidra do well and interesting to see the Giro do well because those are two relatively unseen characters, Giro being relatively new and Sidra just overall being relatively unseen. So it was interesting to see them picked and have success. And then going down to fourth place, Noel and iThrow. This was a very interesting team. Blood Diamond was in this tournament, but Noel was not partnering with them. Instead, Noel decided to partner with iThrow. We're not 100% sure on why they decided to team together. I think the current theory is that Noel and iThrow are going to be teaming for Valencia and potentially into BCX. So Noel wanted a little bit more of a consistent partner who could go and travel to these events. So that might have been his reasoning for going in with iThrow. I was not expecting them to do as well as they did. Generally speaking, we've seen this team in the past, and they didn't do that great. Then we saw Noel go back to Blood Diamond and do very well. So I wasn't expecting the same synergy that we saw out of that, but they did well. They had that one specific combo, Bodvar and Koji, I think it was, where there was like neutral light, downlight, dare, signature, Bodvar, downlight, side light into Koji, neutral signature to send up to the gravity cancel bear. That ends up for the finish. I can't quite remember it off the top of my head right now, but it was something that happened twice, and it was something that they had definitely practiced, that they definitely had in their minds as a tool that they could use in the 2v1, and it was cool. It was cool to see. Definitely really exciting. I know I talked with a little bit with Eric after the tournament, and he loved it. He loved every minute of the NA side of things. But yeah, that's kind of it as far as how twos went. Definitely the standouts for twos on the EU side of things, Mini and Goosey, and to me, Hermison and Blue, I wasn't expecting that much out of them just because I don't get to see a lot of them. And then on the NA side of things, absolutely Tiffany and Starlight and Midget and Hyper Hero were kind of some standouts. Congratulations to all four of these teams. I'll kind of recap back into the 1v1 side of things now. We didn't fully predict the 1v1s as successfully. I think we had a lot more success in picking our twos, but when we went into the ones, Addy Mestic, congratulations. We didn't have as much faith in Addy going into this. No offense to Addy. Part of it is just the fact that it's EU and it's such a volatile region in general. It's hard to have consistency in there, but Addy Mestic seems to find that online consistency. Something about, being able to wake up on his own time, get that cup of coffee, just roll out of bed, go over to his computer, put on the Cyclone jersey, and play the way that he wants to play on his monitors in the comfort of his own home means that he just plays better. And so Addy Mestic was the one who went home with that first place finish. And for many, congratulations to him. Again, he's one of those players that is not as consistent. We saw him have a lot of success last year, saw pops of M for many, but this time he was able to get that second place finish. Simple, big name in the 1v1s. None of us expected Simple to do well. No offense to Simple, but it was just one of those things that we had him losing to a lot of other people, and he didn't. He just straight up did really well. He played out of his mind, and he got that third place finish. And then Agzo with the fourth place, losing to M for many, but he did take out quite a few people on his way. Took out Cake, took out TB. I think he even took out Viper along the path. Nope, I already said it. Viper DQ'd, but that was a potential matchup that was going to happen. If it did happen, I think it would have been a very interesting one, because I think in the past at DreamHacks, Viper was the one who won, but who knows? This is a different type of Agzo. Either way, Agzo, he got that fourth place finish. And then on the NA side of things, Wilson was kind of one of the people that all three of us, Sparky, Creed, and myself, had faith in. Maybe we didn't have him as the first place finisher, but Wilson's showing that he's here to play, man. He's doing well. He does his style of play, and it's very different from what you see from a lot of the other Ragnars out there. And it's not even about like playing to the weapons of Ragnar. He really just plays the character. He plays the signature kit of the Ragnar, and it's really cool to see. Also, Phazon did incredibly well, got that second place finish. I was surprised with the picks of Phazon. He didn't go directly in with the Lucian that I was expecting. Instead, took him a little while to get there. He played the Lucian for a little bit, I think, and then I think he also did Diana, and it took him a while to get to the Val as well. But he ultimately, he made it work. He got that second place finish. Doppy, big standout, did really well. Proud of Doppy. He's one of those people who I'm always a big fan of. I'm always rooting for Doppy. You can't stop the Dop, and I'm so happy that he did well, man. That's just so good to see of Doppy, because Doppy is one of those players who has kind of just been stuck, and I think a little bit beaten down by his own just technology issues. There's always the story that we talk about where he had to play on mobile Wi-Fi, but now he's living. He's got that third place finish, and I hope to see more of him. I hope to see him out at events, or at the very least, see him on more online tournaments. Masters is coming up. Maybe we'll see him there. I hope to see success from him. And then Isidru, with that fourth place finish, a little bit surprised to see him down in fourth place. Would have expected a little bit better of him, but hey, he still played really well, and he got that fourth place finish. Congratulations to all those guys. Congratulations to everyone this weekend. I had a lot of fun this weekend. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the matches were really interesting. I really enjoyed watching EU, oddly enough. I'm an NA fanboy, but I watched a lot of EU and enjoyed a lot of the matches there. There was very few that I kind of, faded out of attention for. Instead, it was just very entertaining to me. I definitely enjoyed this weekend. I hope everyone else enjoyed this weekend. Congratulations to the players. That will lock their power rankings for the season. So that means that those end results, that's really the tournament that you want to show up for. Those seasonals are literally your last chance to get a boost in the power rankings, and the people who got first place, it's no surprise to see them getting those big boosts, because that's just the way that it works. They're the ones who save their NOS for the finish line, and so we see them have a lot of higher power rankings, and they are going to be maintaining that power ranking for the rest of the season into fall. Might lead into BCX, and so congratulations to them, because that's going to be really beneficial to them going into BCX. And I don't really have a lot else to say. I didn't really think of how I was going to close this out. I kind of was just going to knock this one out, because unfortunately I did take a lot of time to get to this one. It's been an exhausting time. I've been trying to recover after this weekend, because it's just been a very eventful weekend. My family's in town, and I've been hanging out with them. But that's for another video, and that's for something else that I probably won't even make a video. I don't care. Whatever. Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a nice day. Have a good weekend. Have a good whatever. And peace.